Hey YouTube, I want to talk about this narrative that's been going around saying that Beyonce is a pick me. I've been seeing this floating around for the past couple of years. Now, a pick me is a woman who will do pretty much anything to be picked by a man. And when I say picked by a man, I mean chosen as his girlfriend, chosen as his wife, or even just getting the man's attention, love, or friendship. Now, pick Mishas, they view a man's validation as the ultimate achievement in life. They don't care about anyone else's opinion or even the value that they have on themselves. Their worth comes from a man and a man alone. And pygmishas are also typically misogynistic. They don't like other women. They try to shame, degrade, and humiliate other women in front of men in hopes of getting brownie points with them. So basically, they try to show men that they are different from other women, again, in hopes of being picked by them. Pygmishas will also act as mammies to men. They don't care if their man doesn't work, they don't care if their man is not paying any bills, or if he's not fulfilling his role in the relationship or in the household. As long as she can say that's her man, she will be happy at his side. And that's basically what a pick me is. And this is what they say Beyonce is. They've been calling her, actually, they've been saying that she's the ultimate pick me. And here's my opinion on it. There is a certain demographic of Black women, and I'm not talking about the women who are just not fans of her, because it's one thing not to like someone's music or not like someone's content. That's just your personal preference. I'm not talking about them, and obviously I'm not talking about all Black women, but what I'm talking about is that demographic of Black women who take it further than just not being a fan. These women actually hate Beyonce. They have a strong dislike and hatred for her, and it's as if they have this mission to humble Beyonce. And when I say humble Beyonce, I mean this. These women have the thought in their head that Beyonce thinks that she's better than everybody. They have this idea that Beyonce is stuck up. She thinks she's God. She thinks she's too good. And they are strongly upset at the fact that she has so many fans. Beyonce is one of the most beloved individuals, personalities, artists, entertainers, whatever you want to call her. She's one of the most beloved people on the planet. She has hundreds of millions of fans worldwide. They support her, they love her, and they defend her all the time. And these women, and it's not just Black women, but I mostly see Black women coming for Beyonce, mostly. Every now and then, someone of a different demographic has something to say, but when it comes to the viciousness, when it comes to the vicious attacks that are placed on Beyonce and her children, I mainly see it come from Black women. So, like I said, these women in particular, this certain demographic of Black women, they hate this woman so much that they are on a mission to not only humble Beyonce, but pretty much crush her self esteem. They are preying on her downfall. They want her family to be torn apart. They say horrible, disgusting things about her children. I mean, we've seen what Black women have done to Blue Ivy. We don't even have to bring up the past, but we all know that petition was created by a Black woman. When we look at the tweets and the comments and everything like that, it's mainly coming from Black women. And I'm not someone who feels like all Black women should stick together. I'm not that type of woman, because clearly I can recognize that there are Dusties and Dustianas alike in the Black community, and all skin folk aren't kinfolk. All Black women are not queens, and all Black men are not kings. Okay, so I'm not on no Wakanda warrior bullshit, but I'm just making the statement that most of the hatred, I'm not saying people who are not fans, I'm not saying people who don't care, I'm talking about the people that actually hate Beyonce. I usually see it coming from Black women. And like I said, they are on a mission to humble her, preying on her downfall, preying on her failure, and wanting to see her family break apart. So, one of the narratives, or one of the things that I see these women say so often about Beyonce is that she's robotic, she doesn't have a personality, and she's not relatable. Okay. This is their favorite thing to say anytime Beyonce is seen in public or anytime Beyonce makes a public statement. When Beyonce is accepting an award or giving a speech, or she doesn't really do interviews anymore, but anytime Beyonce is out in public, you hear them saying that she's robotic, she doesn't have any personality, and that's just the new drag, calling her a robot. Also insinuating that she doesn't have a mind of her own and she's illiterate, which is clearly not true. When I mean, the fans know it's not true, but these are the things these people say about Beyonce as a drag. So here's the thing. Like I said, the non-relatable narrative, okay? It's no secret, and it's so sad that I even have to do this because I'm not someone who views men as a prize. I personally don't view men as a prize. I don't view having children as a prize. I don't even view marriage as a prize, because in our society today, especially within the Black community, there aren't that many good options for a healthy relationship or creating a healthy family and thriving as one unit. So I would never put men on a pedestal because I know the quality of men that we have in the Black community. So I hate that I even have to do this, but at this point, I'm going to, because although I'm not a fan at all of Kevin Samuels or any of these manosphere men who have made a profit off of bashing Black women, I hate to say it, but there is some truth in what they say. Okay? There is some truth. Now, just because I'm going to say what I have to say, it doesn't mean I'm caping for Black men. It doesn't mean I'm making excuses for Black men. It doesn't mean I am absolving Black men of their own actions. But what needs to happen is that both Black men and Black women have to be accountable for the choices that they make. Yes, Black men are notorious for being absentee fathers, low earning, underemployed, abusive, unfaithful, all the stereotypes, of course they have this rep, okay? And that seems to be true for the collective of Black men in the community. But we're not going to just skip over the shit that Black women have going on. Obviously not all Black women, because Black women as a whole are getting the degrees, they're, owning the businesses, they're elevating in life. I'm not talking about those Black women, but there is a decent amount enough of Black women in the Black community who represent the bitter, low value, if I should say it like that, type of woman. Okay? I just have to say it. Here's the thing. These women who say that Beyonce is not relatable, they're coming from a place of their own struggle. Okay? There's no secret that Black women, Black girls suffer, in my opinion, they suffer the most. And even some of the data does back it up that Black girls are being abused at higher rates than other children of other demographics. Okay. So Black women kind of have this, there's a collective amount of Black women who have this shared experience of being abused, degraded, neglected, abandoned, growing up without a father or a good father figure, being raised by single mothers, growing up poor, growing up low income, growing up in poverty, going through phases where they had a whole phase, going through situations where they have a baby by a man and then are left to raise that child on their own. A lot of babies in the Black community are born out of wedlock. That's just a norm in the Black community. It's very typical for a Black woman it's very typical for Black women to have babies out of wedlock. Now, in other communities, not all, some communities don't care about wedlock either, But in other communities where they seem to be doing better as a whole, they value the family unit, they value marriage, they value modesty and being more conservative in terms of the family unit and women being married and doing all that other good stuff. Not to say that other communities are perfect or better, but I'm just saying in other communities who seem to have their shit better than Blackistan, they value the family unit. Now, in Blackistan, it is very typical for Black men and women to have babies out of wedlock, even when they're broke, even when they have mental illnesses, even when they have physical illnesses, even when they're low income, even when the man is a criminal and going back and forth to jail, even when the woman is living in public housing, isn't on food stamps. I mean, it's very typical in Blackistan for babies to be born out of wedlock by parents who are not prepared to take care of them. Okay? And the thing about Beyonce is that she does not have that experience as far as we know. As far as we know, Beyonce was born, well, Beyonce grew up in a two-parent household where her mom and dad were married, okay? They both had jobs. I believe Tina owned her own salon and she was very successful. And then Matthew was some sort of medical equipment salesman. He was very successful. So she grew up in an upper middle class community where they owned their home. Like I said, her parents were both in the home and were married, and Beyonce went to private school. Not only that, but both her parents were very much so active and present in her life. In fact, they dedicated their lives to supporting Beyonce's career and being by her side as she navigated through the early stages of her career. And now we see Beyonce. She started dating a man. She dated him for several years, and then she married that man, and then she had kids with that man, and now she's still married to that man and has a family unit of her own. And I hate to say it, but a lot of these Black women who call Beyonce a pick-me, they can't relate to her because her story as we know it is opposite of their own story. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce is a married woman. She has kids. All of her kids are by the same man. She doesn't have 2 to 3 different baby daddies. The man that she's married to, she's been with him for 20 years, as far as we know. As far as we know, Beyonce wasn't out here on no hoe shit. Now, people will spread rumors and they will make up stuff and they will take something from somewhere and act like it's the truth, but they ain't showing no real receipts. They ain't showing no proof. They ain't showing nothing. I mean, every year there's a new lie, there's a new conspiracy. Now they're saying Beyonce had an abortion at one point. When did Beyonce ever say she had an abortion? When did anyone in her family say she had an abortion? Where do you have proof of this abortion? Now they're saying that Jay-Z groomed Beyonce. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Now there's this narrative that Jay-Z groomed Beyonce. Now, obviously, Jay-Z and Beyonce have a very large age gap, okay? And I believe Beyonce was around 18. She was either 17, 18, or 19 when they started dating. Jay-Z is like 10 to 12 years older than her. So they're stating that because they started dating when she was either 17, 18, or 19, that's grooming. Now, let me say this. Obviously, grooming does happen, especially with men and very, very young girls. And when I say very, very young, I mean, it could be as young as 18. I'm sorry. It could be younger than 18 or up to 18. But we have no proof that Beyonce was groomed by Jay-Z. I mean, you can take a little clip of something they said and you can misconstrue it. You can do that, but that's still just you creating your own narrative. That is no definitive proof or action to show that she was quote unquote groomed by Jay-Z. Here's the thing that I don't understand, okay? Beyonce and Jay-Z, they do not talk to the public enough for y'all to feel like y'all have all this information on them. They do not publicly talk about their relationship enough. They do not show themselves in different forms enough for the public to see, for y'all to feel like y'all have all this information. They don't talk to us. They don't tell us what's going on in their home. They never even showed us their home. They don't show enough of their personal lives for y'all to feel like y'all have all this information. I could see if they were on some reality TV show, which is not always reality, but I could see if they were on some reality TV show telling their business. I could see if they were having sit downs and tell-alls about all the shit that's happening in the relationship, like Will and Jada, like doing a red table talk. I could see if they did all that, but they haven't. Beyonce and Jay-Z, even when they do collaborative music together, it's always usually very professional. I mean, they just did that Tiffany ad, but that was just professional. They didn't discuss or do a deep dive into their relationship. They don't tell us none of their business. Now, Lemonade, you can talk about Lemonade, but at the end of the day, Lemonade was entertainment. Beyonce has made songs about infidelity before, so have pretty much every other musician and artist and songwriter. Everyone has made songs about infidelity. Everyone. But y'all took what y'all could from Lemonade and y'all ran with it because that's all you can do when it comes to Beyonce. Like I said, she don't show you enough, so you take what you can get and then you turn it into something else to feel like you have something. And that's what y'all are doing with this pick me narrative. First of all, how can she even be a pick me when she's already has a man? She's been with the same man for 20 years. When has Beyonce ever gone on a podcast, gone on an interview, or even done so on social media? When has she ever publicly asked for a man to pick her? And I'm not even saying literally. I'm just saying, when has she ever expressed that she needed a man to pick her? I mean, let me give y'all an example. We see B. Simone back, especially a few years ago, child, where she was on this whole campaign to be picked by DaBaby. I mean, just cyber slurping him, dick sucking him vicariously. I mean, this girl was on her hands and knees begging for this short man. Begging for him to pick her. That's the pick me. Beyonce, I'm just so confused. How are y'all correlating a woman spending time with her husband or a woman having a long-term relationship with her husband? How do you correlate a woman having a long-term relationship to her being a pick me? How do you correlate that? When has Beyonce ever put another woman down to get picked by a man? When has Beyonce ever publicly, as far as we know, when has she ever went on a campaign to get a certain man to pick her? When has she ever done that? Now, y'all want to bring up old songs and shit like that, especially from the Destiny's Child days, but it's like, y'all don't do that to Kelly and Michelle. I mean, Kelly just went on a whole caping campaign for Chris Brown. Kelly was caping for Chris Brown last week. Kelly was fighting Chris Brown's battles, the colorist woman beater. That's who Kelly was caping for last week. I ain't see y'all calling her a pick me. When has Beyonce ever caped for a man? When has Beyonce ever caped for a man? When? As far as we know. As far as we know. And y'all want to talk about songs from the 90s and early 2000s? Well, that's what that era was in music. There was a time in R&B music where it was okay to love your partner. It was okay to cater to your partner. It was okay to show appreciation and to express your feelings to your partner. And it wasn't just Destiny's Child doing it. It was other groups as well, especially in the R&B field, where that's what it was. You were writing love songs. You were writing love letters to the person that you loved. And even in the songs where y'all want to say, oh, it's them being pick-me's, but if you listen to the lyrics, they clearly state that the man that they have were working hard, they were providing, they were doing well by them. So in that case, they want to reciprocate the love by being good women to their men. There was a time in music where it was okay to love who you were with. And it wasn't just women either, even men. You know, even men back in that day, they were writing songs and had songs where they were love songs to women, not just talking about fucking them and making them twerk and all this other shit. There was a time when men actually wrote love letters to women and love songs for women, and they were real love songs. Now today, in today's era, we're in the city girl and the city boy era. In this era, it's fuck a nigga, fuck a bitch, get a check. I mean, you hear it in the lyrics all the time. Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga, make him think you love him, take his money and you dip on him. What else? Chase a check, never chase a bitch. I can never cry about no bitch. I mean, that's the era we're in right now. We're in an era right now where it's fuck men, fuck women, just get money. That's just the era we're in right now. Okay? So now it's like all of these single women, all of these single mothers, it's like I said, it's so common these days. I mean, this is what I think what's really happening. And let me say this again. I just need to stress this. I am not someone who feels like men should be a prize. Okay? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying men should be a prize. I'm not saying you can't be happy without a man. I'm not saying you can't be happy without a family unit. I'm not saying that at all. At all. Honestly, truly, I'm honestly not saying that. But there are women who are sad that they don't have a man. There are women who are sad that they don't have a man in their household helping them raise their kids. And these are the same women who are taking their misplaced anger out on women like Beyonce. Women like Beyonce who have sustained long-term relationships, who have been married, who have children with the man that they're married to, and they all have the same dad. They are misplacing their anger out on women like Beyonce because deep down they're jealous. And they don't want to admit that they made bad choices. They don't want to admit that they got played. They don't want to admit that they got the short end of the stick. So they're trying to make it seem like it's something wrong with women like Beyonce, who work things out with their family, who fight for their family, who forgive and move on and keep their family a unit. And I want to say this again. I don't condone abuse. I don't condone infidelity. I don't condone none of that shit in a relationship. I don't condone that. But I do know that everyone's situation is not the same. And we don't know shit about nothing. And Beyonce is a grown woman. If she wants to make the decision to stay and keep her family together, that's her business. As far as we can see, I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, Beyonce's not out here like these other celebrities getting mug shots, drunk, high, going on psychotic rants. You know what I'm saying? We don't see Beyonce doing any of that shit. So even if she quote unquote was groomed, like y'all say she was, even if she quote unquote is a pick me, which doesn't make any sense at all because she's not out here begging for a man to pick her. She already got her man and she's been with him for 20 years. So what was I saying? Like I said, what's the problem? I mean, I understand that y'all men left y'all and y'all raising y'all kids by yourself and y'all not married and y'all are struggling to pay these bills on your own and y'all on welfare. I understand that. Okay. And I understand that some of y'all own favorite celebrities married colorists and married registered sex offenders and all this other stuff. I understand that. Okay. So because things are not working out in your life or in the lives of the celebrities that you like, y'all are trying to make it seem like there's something wrong with what Beyonce got going on. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that her life is perfect and that everything is just perfect and she's just, she's just perfect. That's never the case. I don't even think Beyonce's ever tried to say that she was perfect. I just think that she keeps her business to herself and she's not going to exploit herself or exploit her situations or make herself vulnerable for the public to see just so y'all can have ammunition to weaponize it against her. Because at the end of the day, Y'all calling her a pick me now for being a married woman and spending time with her husband and her kids. Y'all calling her a pick me for that. But I guarantee you, if she decided to leave Jay-Z, y'all would then turn the narrative into her being a single mother and bashing her for that and saying she can't keep a man. So either way, I think the ultimate conclusion is that y'all are just bitter. Y'all are just bitter. Y'all are just jealous. And y'all are just crabs in a fucking barrel or crabs in a bucket. Y'all have this idea that Beyonce is public enemy number one. She's your competition. If you can put her down, that'll somehow make you look better and somehow make you feel better. And whoever is your favorite celebrity, that'll somehow make them look better by bringing her down a notch. But the thing about it is, B don't even be out here trying to flex on people. The girl only posts when she's making music or when she's advertising. But other than that, she gets off social media and she goes to her family and minds her business. And that just kills y'all that she don't tell y'all her business. It just kills y'all that she don't tell y'all her business. So now y'all got to switch narratives and make revisionist history when it comes to her because she gives y'all nothing to say. So y'all just make shit up. But that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of bitter, single, lonely, struggling single mothers who they know that they wish they had a better situation, but because they don't have a better situation, they're trying to make it seem like women like Beyonce, who are in long-term relationships, who have an intact family unit, two parents in a household, now they're just trying to make it seem like there's something wrong with that. Since themselves and their own favorite celebrities are breaking up with their husbands, breaking up with their boyfriends, single mothers, doing everything on their own, now they're just trying to say that Beyonce is wrong for being with the same man for 20 years. That's all I got.